everyone, and welcome back to Chill English Channel. I'm Sophia, and I'm very happy that you are spending some time with us today.
And I'm Jake. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Maybe you're relaxing at home, driving to work, walking through your neighborhood, or enjoying a quiet evening with a cup of tea.
Wherever you are, we hope this conversation helps you feel calm while also improving your English naturally.
Today, we have a topic that almost everyone experiences. We are going to talk about something we do every day, but many English learners still find difficult.
Today's topic is talking about yourself in English.
We'll use clear, natural English that is comfortable for B1 to C1 learners. We want you to enjoy the conversation while learning useful vocabulary and expressions.
As always, don't worry if you don't understand every single word. Try to relax and follow the overall meaning.
Listening many times is one of the best ways to become familiar with natural English.
Before we begin, here is a simple question for you to think about while you listen.
If someone you just met asked you, "Can you tell me a little about yourself?" what would you say?
You don't need to answer right now. Just keep that question in your mind.
Many people think this is an easy question.
But when the moment actually comes, it can suddenly feel surprisingly difficult.
You know your own life better than anyone else, but finding the right English words can be challenging.
Sometimes people become nervous because they want to sound interesting.
Sometimes they worry about making grammar mistakes.
And sometimes they simply don't know where to begin.
They might think, should I talk about my job, my hobbies, my family, my personality?
The good news is that there isn't only one correct answer.
Talking about yourself is less about giving perfect information and more about creating a comfortable conversation.
Exactly. You're not giving a speech. You're simply helping another person get to know you.
And that's something we can all practice.
Jake, let me ask you something.
Of course.
Do you remember the first time someone introduced themselves to you in English?
Yes, actually I do. I was attending an international workshop many years ago.
Were you nervous?
Very nervous. Everyone seemed confident, and then someone smiled at me and said, "Hi, tell me about yourself."
That sounds like a simple question.
It was simple, but my mind suddenly became completely empty.
I think many listeners know that feeling very well.
I had practiced so many vocabulary words, but at that moment, I couldn't decide which information was important.
So what did you say?
I think I started 3 different introductions before finishing one sentence.
That sounds very human.
Eventually, I said, "My name is Jake. I work in education. I enjoy reading and traveling." It wasn't exciting, but it worked.
And probably the other person wasn't expecting anything perfect.
Exactly. They simply wanted to have a conversation.
That's an important lesson. Many learners imagine they need an impressive introduction.
But most people just want something honest and natural.
Let me tell you about one of my experiences.
I'd love to hear it.
A few years ago, I joined an online language exchange.
That sounds interesting.
Before every meeting, I spent almost 30 minutes preparing how I would introduce myself.
30 minutes?
Yes, I wanted every sentence to sound perfect.
And what happened?
The first person I met smiled and asked, "So, what do you enjoy doing on weekends?"
That's different from the introduction you prepared.
Completely different. Suddenly, all my preparation disappeared because the conversation became natural instead of planned.
That's actually a good thing.
Yes, I realized that real conversations don't usually follow a script.
They move naturally from one topic to another.
That's why it's better to learn ideas than memorize long paragraphs.
Because if you only memorize, one unexpected question can make everything disappear.
Exactly.
So today we want to help everyone become more comfortable talking about themselves naturally.
Let's begin with something very simple.
When people ask you to introduce yourself, they usually aren't asking for your entire life story.
They're simply looking for a starting point.
You can think of your introduction as opening a door.
Once the door is open, the conversation can continue naturally.
For example, you might begin by saying your name and where you're from.
Then you could mention what you do.
Maybe you're a student.
Maybe you work in an office.
Maybe you're learning a new skill.
Or maybe you're currently looking for a new opportunity.
All of these are perfectly normal things to share.
After that, you can talk about what you enjoy.
Hobbies are wonderful conversation starters because they often create common interests.
Imagine you say, I enjoy hiking.
The other person might also enjoy hiking.
Then the conversation naturally becomes easier.
Instead of asking more questions about work, they may ask about their favorite places to walk.
That's how conversations grow.
Little by little.
Another important thing is that you don't need an exciting life to have an interesting conversation.
That's true.
Some people think they need unusual adventures or dramatic stories.
But everyday experiences are often the easiest topics to discuss.
You can talk about cooking,
Reading books,
watching movies,
learning English,
spending time with your family,
taking care of a pet.
going for evening walks.
Even enjoying quiet weekends at home can become a pleasant conversation.
The secret isn't having extraordinary experiences.
The secret is speaking about ordinary things with honesty and confidence.
Confidence doesn't mean speaking perfectly.
It simply means accepting that small mistakes are part of learning.
Every fluent speaker once made beginner mistakes.
Every confident communicator was once nervous too.
That's something many learners forget.
They compare their first steps with someone else's years of experience.
Instead, it's better to compare yourself with the person you were last month.
If you've learned a few new expressions, understood a little more English, or spoken a little more comfortably, then you've already made progress.
Progress doesn't always feel dramatic.
Often it's quiet, steady, and almost invisible until you look back and realize how far you've come.
And perhaps that's one of the nicest parts of learning a language.
You slowly become the person who can comfortably tell others who you are.
One thing that surprises many English learners is that talking about yourself is not only about giving information, it is also about building a connection with another person.
That's true. When someone asks you questions about yourself, they're usually trying to understand who you are, not testing your English.
Sometimes we forget that because we become so focused on grammar.
We think about verb tenses, pronunciation, and vocabulary so much that we stop enjoying the conversation itself.
But real communication is about sharing ideas.
Exactly. If your message is clear and friendly, people will usually understand you, even if your English isn't perfect.
Jake, let's imagine we have just met at a coffee shop.
Sounds good. I'll start.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jake. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm Sophia.
So, Sophia, could you tell me a little about yourself?
Sure. I enjoy learning languages, reading books, and creating educational content. I also love spending quiet mornings with a good cup of coffee.
See? That already gives me several things to ask about.
Exactly. You could ask about languages, books, or coffee.
Instead of ending the conversation, your answer creates new possibilities.
That's why details are so useful.
Many learners answer with only one or two words.
For example, someone asks, "What are your hobbies?" and the answer is simply reading.
That's correct English, but the conversation stops very quickly.
Instead, you could say, "I really enjoy reading history books because I like learning about different cultures."
Suddenly, the other person has something interesting to respond to.
They might say, "Really, what's your favorite history book?"
Or they might tell you about a country they recently visited.
A good conversation is like playing catch with a ball.
You throw an idea to another person.
Then they throw another idea back to you.
If you only give very short answers, it's difficult to keep the game going.
Another common question is, "What do you do?"
Some learners become nervous because they think this question is only about work.
But it can include many situations.
If you're a student, you can simply say that you're studying.
If you're working, you can briefly describe your job.
If you're taking a break or looking for a new opportunity, that's completely fine to mention too.
You don't need to apologize for your situation.
Everyone's life changes over time.
Let's talk about personality for a moment.
That's another area where learners sometimes feel unsure.
Many people want to describe themselves, but they only know a few adjectives.
Like friendly, shy, or hardworking.
Those are all useful words.
But it's even more natural when you explain them with a simple example.
For instance, instead of saying, I'm organized, you could say, I like making lists because they help me stay organized.
That sounds much more personal.
Or instead of saying, I'm quiet, you might say, I'm usually quiet when I meet new people, but after I become comfortable, I enjoy talking.
That gives a fuller picture of your personality.
It also sounds more natural than simply listing adjectives.
Speaking of personality, how would you describe yourself?
I think I'm curious.
Curious in what way?
I enjoy learning about people. I like asking questions and discovering how others think and live.
I can definitely believe that.
What about you?
I'd say I'm patient.
Why do you think so?
Because I don't mind repeating something several times if it helps another person understand.
That's a wonderful quality, especially when teaching or learning.
Thank you. Although I wasn't always patient, it became stronger with experience.
I like that answer because it reminds us that personality can grow and change.
Exactly. We often describe ourselves as if everything is permanent.
But people continue learning throughout their lives.
Another useful topic when talking about yourself is your daily routine.
Yes, daily routines are easy to describe because everyone has one.
You might say, I usually wake up early.
Or, I enjoy taking a walk after dinner.
Maybe you like listening to podcasts while cooking.
Or perhaps you read before going to bed.
These simple habits often create interesting conversations because other people may have similar routines.
Sometimes they may even give you new ideas.
That's one of the best things about meeting people from different cultures.
You discover different ways of living.
And at the same time, you often realize how many things we all have in common.
Before, you were just trying to introduce yourself.
Now you're learning about another person's world as well.
That's why talking about yourself isn't really only about yourself.
It's the beginning of understanding someone else and allowing them to understand you a little better.
As we come toward the end of today's conversation, let's think about one more important idea. Talking about yourself becomes much easier when you stop trying to impress people and start trying to connect with them.
I really like that thought. Connection is much more important than perfection.
When we meet someone new, we usually don't remember every sentence they say.
But we often remember how they made us feel.
If someone is kind, relaxed, and interested in the conversation, we enjoy talking with them.
That doesn't depend on having perfect grammar.
It depends on being present and listening carefully.
Listening is actually one of the best communication skills.
That's true. Many people think a good conversation is about speaking a lot.
But good conversations usually have a balance between speaking and listening.
If someone asks you a question, answer it honestly.
Then you can ask them a similar question.
For example, if someone asks, "What do you enjoy doing in your free time?"
You might answer, I enjoy photography and going for long walks. What about you?
That simple question keeps the conversation moving naturally.
People usually appreciate it when you show interest in their lives too.
Let's imagine another situation.
You're attending an international event for the first time.
You don't know anyone in the room.
At first, that can feel uncomfortable.
But then someone smiles and says hello.
Instead of worrying about saying everything perfectly, you simply begin with a friendly introduction.
You share your name.
You mention where you're from.
You talk a little about what you do.
Then you mention something you enjoy.
Suddenly, the conversation feels natural.
Not because your English became perfect in 1 minute, but because you relaxed.
Confidence often grows while we're speaking, not before we begin.
I think that's something every language learner should remember.
Me too.
Sophia, if you could give our listeners one piece of advice about introducing themselves in English, what would it be?
I would say this: don't memorize one long speech. Instead, become comfortable talking about different parts of your life.
That's practical advice.
Learn how to talk about your work, your studies, your hobbies, your family, your goals, and your daily routine.
Then you can combine those ideas naturally depending on the conversation.
Exactly. Real conversations are flexible.
My advice would be to practice out loud.
Even when you're alone?
Yes, you can speak while making breakfast, driving, or walking outside.
That's a great habit.
The more often you hear your own English, the more comfortable it becomes.
At first, it may feel a little strange.
It did for me.
For me too.
But after some practice, speaking aloud starts to feel completely normal.
Another helpful idea is to remember that your story is always changing.
That's a beautiful way to think about it.
The person you are today will not be exactly the same person next year.
You'll learn new skills.
You'll meet new people.
You'll have new experiences.
And your English will continue improving.
So every time someone asks you to tell them about yourself, your answer may be a little different.
That's perfectly natural.
It means you're growing.
Before we finish, let's review a few useful words from today's conversation.
The first word is introduce. To introduce yourself means to tell someone basic information about who you are.
Another useful word is connection. A connection is the feeling of understanding or relating to another person.
We also use the word confident. Confident means believing in yourself, even if you still have things to learn.
Another important word is curious. Curious means wanting to learn, discover, and understand new things.
We also talked about routine. Your routine is the regular things you do each day.
Another useful word is flexible. Flexible means able to change naturally depending on the situation.
And finally, we use the word comfortable. Feeling comfortable means feeling relaxed and at ease.
If you'd like to practice after this episode, here's a simple activity.
Imagine you're meeting a new friend.
Introduce yourself in English for 1 or 2 minutes.
Talk about your name, where you're from, what you do, what you enjoy, and one goal you have for the future.
Don't worry if you make mistakes.
Every sentence you speak is valuable practice.
You can even record yourself on your phone and listen again later.
You might notice that you're improving more than you expected.
And if you listen to this episode again, you'll probably understand even more the second time.
That's one of the wonderful things about language learning. Every repetition builds confidence.
Before we say goodbye, we'd love to hear from you.
In the comments, introduce yourself in English.
You could write something like, "Hello, I'm your name, I'm from your country, I enjoy, and one of my goals is..."
It doesn't need to be long. Just be yourself.
Reading comments from learners all around the world always reminds us that English connects people from many different cultures.
Thank you so much for relaxing, learning, and practicing English with us today.
We truly appreciate that you chose to spend part of your day with Chill English Channel.
Keep speaking, keep listening, and keep believing that small daily practice creates big progress over time.
Until next time, take care of yourself, enjoy your English journey, and we'll see you again very soon.